Hello and welcome to another update video. Today we want to talk about Netflix, something that I find personally quite interesting because I did enter a position in April last year. It's quite some time back, but it was basically very close to the low here. Bought some red days there in anticipation of at least a B wave rally afterwards. And just today I sold them, or at least I triggered the sell order, or I activated the sell order, put it in, so it will be triggered on Monday. Happy with the profit so far. I think I've got enough confirmation for me to tell me that now a move down should play out over the next few weeks and possibly months. So I'll plan to get back in a little lower. I'm still bullish on Netflix. I did mention it at the time on Discord in our crypto community. Back then we only had a crypto community, and we talked about Netflix a bit last year. So I did mention my buy order back then. And I like to take these larger swings. I'm not interested so much in day trading. It is stressful, too stressful. Often you don't get enough profits out of it for the time you have to invest. Because bear in mind, when you do very frequent trading, day trading, making a little bit of profit is fine. Making good profit is fine as well. But think about the time you need to invest. Yeah, you have to deduct the costs for your own time when you sit in front of the screen all the time. It's a job, so you have costs, which is your own time. Whereas taking the larger swings doesn't really take a lot of time. I analyze the charts anyway, so that time is well spent, and I prefer to just take those larger swings. It's less stressful. I sometimes call it lazy trading, but it is for me the best way to do it. Also, you don't need to be you don't need to be emotionally so involved. Well, I had too much wine today, I guess. No, okay. So let's look at the chart. The idea is that a larger degree third wave finished here. That's fairly clear to me in 21. What is not so clear is whether wave 4 already bottomed here, which was in 22, or is the wave 4 still in the making? In the short term, that doesn't matter so much, because in the yellow wave count, in which we would come down a little bit deeper in a deeper wave 4, in this wave count, we completed an A wave, a high B wave, and we're now coming down in a C wave, very likely below the May 22 low. In the other wave count, which is the more bullish one, which already assumes that we're already in this fifth wave, which is more in line with what Tesla is doing, for example. In this wave count, the price is now coming back in a wave 2. For me, that's a really good position, because I think that in both scenarios, the price is coming down lower over the coming weeks or months. And I would like to see at least the 50% Fibonacci retracement at $281, but possibly lower. Yeah, so in the white wave count, we should visit the area between 281 and $205.80. So what I will do in the coming weeks when the price is coming down, I will watch very closely the structure. If the structure looks very impulsive, I would rather lean towards the yellow wave count, which should see a break below the May 22 low. Whereas if it's just rather corrective, then I will emphasize the white wave count, will focus on that, and will then add back in, yeah? So I basically scaled out in resistance, and I will scale back into support. Now, I didn't sell everything. Around about 60% I did sell. So I did that. I didn't sell everything because my focus is still generally on the upside on this chart. I'm still fairly bullish on Netflix. But I think for the next few weeks or even months, we could see some I think it's at least 27%. I looked at it earlier. 27% decline at least, okay? Possibly even more. Possibly it could come down again below the May 22 low. So then we talk about 50%, isn't it? Maybe even a little more. Yeah, 55%. For me, it's a good spot to take some profits. Again, whether you take profits or not, that's not necessarily so much dependent on the chart, where it is as well, but more what is right for your portfolio. That for me has been the right thing to do, okay? Because I've made some nice profits and I can use them to scale back in when we come back lower, okay? So, or look at other setups elsewhere. But I think this is going to be an interesting one, probably in a few weeks' time when we get closer to the yellow support area and when we have some clarity whether this is actually an impulsive move down or a corrective move down. So, for example, I could say in this white wave 2 that we're probably just forming here, that we're still working maybe on an A wave of wave 2. We should then see a B wave and a C wave. So more like that, yeah. And the A wave oftentimes bounces off the 38.2 fib retracement. So I would be watching for a first reaction here around $320. That's also where we had previous support. That was back in June, yeah. Yeah, and then at some point when it turns around, and again, I can't really give you a very precise target because I don't know when exactly it will turn around. We will need to look at these fib levels. It will become clearer in the coming weeks when we get a little bit more price data on the lower time frames. But target for the third wave there in white, let's assume the white wave count plays out. And let's assume we come down maybe to $247. Then a target for the third wave would be between $950 and $1,400. So it's quite interesting. That's why I definitely want to be in that trade. That's also why I didn't sell everything, because if it turns around and it turns around early, there is decent potential there. Okay. Okay, what happens if it goes a little lower? That's not a problem for me. If it goes a little lower, then I would buy back in at the end of the C wave. I'm not too worried about that. I realized some profits. So even if it goes lower, I'm basically still probably at a net profit. Even though if there is a drawdown short term, I will not stop out below the I've got my bottle in the way. Second, I will not stop out below the April 22 low. No, I will not. At some point maybe, but I assume if it breaks below that line, then it will not be too far away before it bottoms. Yeah, it will depend on the larger market situation overall, but I'm not heavily invested anymore. Well, I was never heavily invested. It was a decent position, but yeah, not too worried about that. So it's interesting because this is a nice swing opportunity in my opinion for higher. And if I see that we might go below the yellow support area, then I will calculate a target area for the C wave of wave 4 in the coming weeks. Yeah, that's my update about Netflix. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.